Now in this video, we are going to look at the life cycle of a machine learning project. Now being this is a hands-on course, it's very important as a beginner that you understand about the various components that we have in a life cycle of a machine learning project. Because almost all the machine learning project will follow the same methodology. Starting with, whenever we want to perform any machine learning on a given data set, the first activity that we are going to do is, we are going to load the data. So we load the data from the various sources. I can have a data in a CSV file, I can have a data in a database file, or I can have my data in my cloud-based environment. That is, it could be in Amazon S3 bucket or in my GCP bucket. I load the data from my various sources so that it is ready for my analysis. Now, common way to load this data is with the help of pandas data frame. Now, once we have the data in the format of a data frame, we are going to examine the data. Now, in the step of examination of data, I'm going to visually analyze as how the first few entries of my data would look like, last few entries of my data would look like, and what are the data types of my individual columns, whether we have any missing entries in my given data set, and if I have any missing entries, can I remove those entire rows itself, or can I impute it with the statistically correct values? So we'll do all those things in this examining the data step. And also, we are going to convert the values to the required data type. For example, if I have my dates which has been read as a string data type, I'm going to make sure that it is converted into a datetime format so that I can do the correct analysis on the given column of this data set. Now, once the data examination is complete, we are going to split the data set into two parts. Now, the first part, I'm going to call it as a training part, and the second part, I'm going to call it as a test part. Now, this training part is the part which I'll be using for training my machine learning algorithm. Now, once the model has been trained, I'll use this test part to check the evaluation. That means to perform the evaluation on my machine learning model, I'll use this test part. And here, before I do the training, I'm also going to perform the visual analysis on this given data. Now, while performing the visualization, I can make use of various libraries, that is Matplotlib, Pandas or Seaborn. I can make use of all these libraries to create the better visualization of this data set so that I can learn the data in a better fashion. And once I create my visualization on this given data set, I'm going to perform pre-processing on this given data. Now here, in the step of pre-processing, I'm going to reduce the scale to the range of 0 to 1. That means I can normalize the data. Sometimes I'll apply the standard scaler on my given data set. Sometimes, whenever I want, I'll be converting my categorical variables into a numerical format using various encoding techniques that we have inside my sklearn library. And once I have the data in the numerical format, I'm going to apply this training data for training my machine learning models. Once the model training is complete, I'll make use of this testing data. Yes, I'll make use of this testing data to evaluate my machine learning model. Now, once I evaluate my machine learning model, this completes the entire life cycle of my machine learning project. So we'll start with loading the data, and then we'll examine the data. We'll split the data set into two parts. We'll visualize the data to see whether we have any pattern in this given data set. We'll perform the pre-processing on this given data set. We'll perform the training. So here, while performing the training, I can train my machine learning model. So which means I can use the same training data and train on my machine learning. Now here in the step of training the machine learning model, I'll use my training data set and apply it on various machine learning models so that I can perform the training. Once the training is complete, I'll make use of this test data to evaluate my machine learning models to understand as how well my machine learning model is performing. Now, as we progress in this learning journey of machine learning, we are going to follow all these steps, guys. So the main intention for us is to learn these various components of life cycle of a machine learning project so that whenever we have any data, we'll be able to bring the analysis in a best possible manner using machine learning models. Okay,